Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live. We are in Clubhouse and we are on Facebook and LinkedIn and somewhere else. Where are we? Twitter, Twitch, and Clubhouse. I hope you are having a fantabulous first Monday of the year, that we're all back at work. It's been one of those days already, because actually it started before it began. And we're talking about the start of things today. I'm just a little bit itchy. My nose is itching. I think that means something. Anyone that knows what that means, please do let us know in the comments, because I think there's some sort of fable about where that is and who that is. It looks like people might be finding it difficult to find us this morning in Clubhouse. Please share this space out, ping people in, invite them in. For those of you are on social media that I can see, good morning, please do make a message in the chat. Just say one if you're here live, and let me know where you are in the world. We have people from all over the world joining us right now in this space. That's what's been happening, from Uganda to Australia to Tasmania to Sweden. We really do get global, and there's nothing wrong with getting global, to be honest. I think on a Monday at 6 a.m, wherever you are in the world, it's good to go global. I think it's good to become aware of where you're at. And where I am is at the very beginning. But I'll be honest, I planned this beginning a long time ago. We have things beginning today. Good morning, David. We have things beginning today that are very, very well versed in the fact that they were going to exist, because they were planned many months ago. And they were planned with the plan of having a year or to die for. Because, to be honest, I think that 2025 has always held quite an allure for me, in that 2020 was quite exciting and a bit scary. Do you remember going into the new millennium, when everybody thought that the whole of the Internet of Things was going to blow everything up, and that when the clock on the computers struck a zero, whenever the hell that was, in relation to when New Year was, because it was different, if you remember, then nobody knows what time of year it is, do they? Because if you get the Chinese calendar, it's different. If you get the Wiccan calendar, it's different. If you get the one we're in, it's different. If you look anywhere, you go over the channel, you're a different hour. You don't know what time it is where you are. Sometimes it's a different day. My coach, Pete Cohen's in New Zealand at the moment. He and Chloe Stevens are over there. And that means they're hours away. My son's in Canada right now, and that means he's hours away, and sometimes a day away. So actually, time is, exactly as I've always said, a fallacy. So the idea that things start at the very beginning is actually, again, another pretend. Because it can't start at the very beginning, can it? It has to start before the beginning. It can't begin right at the beginning. And I'm going to give you an example of this weekend. I was talking to somebody about business planning. And the reason that I talk about business planning is because I run a business that helps people become self-employed or employed, or actually they've got to have a job. We can't give, well, we do give them jobs. We do make jobs. We are job creators. But in the main, if you've got a job, come to us. And if you want to be self-employed and you're disabled, come to us. We're not exclusive to be inclusive. It's just that if you are yet to be disabled, then you have to come to inclusion instead. Because we don't exclude anyone in inclusion, our not-profit, for not being disabled, or not being any other thing at all, or being who they are. So you come to inclusion, and then when you are one of us, you've become disabled, we can help you with any of the barriers that you find for yourself. So the best thing I'd do is join inclusion now, because you are part of inclusion. Everybody is in inclusion, just as everyone is neurodiverse. Just saying. If you want to know anything about versions of things, we can really get things wrong and then perpetuate those myths. And there's so many myths about that, funnily enough, it just feels like a bit of a pretend to me some of the time. So if you feel that things are a bit pretense, like we start at the very beginning, do you remember that song? Let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. Remember that? One of the Christmas things, I think. One of those Mary Andrews. I don't think she's called that. Somebody's going to shoot me now. But that girl, I'll remember her name in a minute. And she sang that, didn't she? However, that's not when things start. They start before they begin because they have to be thought about. And everything begins with a thought. It begins with our imagination, doesn't it? It begins with a dream. Last night I planned my outings, not all of them, and happenings, major events, until 2031, month by month. Because if you've got a 5-year plan and your brain knows where you're going, then, interestingly, it seems to get there a lot quicker. It's a bit like gee go in, gee go out. Does anybody know what that means? Gee go in, gee go out. I'm going to leave it and not expect to see it, but if I do see it when I come back in the chat, that'll be amazing. Yeah, garbage in, garbage out. It's a computer term, and as my first degree is IT and computing, when I did T171, your computer and the net, for those of you that understand and remember that course, a course about you, your computer and the net, because it was a new thing that nobody knew how to do. I studied that and learned acronyms like GIGO and flaming when you're writing in capital letters on the internet. People now know that's shouting, but of course nobody can hear it. It's just a way of communicating. And so your computer and the net gave me the understanding that things had to begin before they began, because they had to begin with an idea, a plan, a dream. And the dream was with a computer, of course, or with the telephone as we began communication. It was being able to speak to somebody else with the use of some sort of device. And interestingly, whilst we've made some amazing devices, and we have, haven't we? Look at what we've done in the last 100 years. It's phenomenal. We're now communicating we have been in zeros and ones forever. And actually, that's how it all begins. Just saying, we planned it, we made it that way. We created the internet. We created the Internet of Things. You know, the millennium potential idea that the computers would take over the world was a little bit of a prediction, wasn't it? Because AI is going to take over half the jobs, and so it should. Because many of the jobs are tedious, repetitive, and they prevent us from communicating in the way that we were designed. There's lots of ways to end the fallacy, but starting is a powerful act. So whether or not we've really planned today, getting on with it is the first thing that you need to do. However, I do advise that before you get on with it, that you do plan something. Whether it's not the next 5 moves, or today I would aim to eat some breakfast, get dressed, go to the post office, walk the dog, get back into bed, have some dinner. That's it. Just get a list in your head that tells you pretty much what you're going to do today. Now, if you get down to the nitty gritty, and if I just, for those of you that are watching, if I just show you my kind of goal setting yesterday, was along the lines, and these are great. These rocket planners, they're phenomenal. You can compartmentalize. I've rubbed it out from last year, of course. You can compartmentalize because it rubs out the pen. Your planning into segments, so you get to reflect in different ways. So you can see, I've already started the segmenting of anything and everything. My dump space. And I just think that if you're gonna, there's a panda planner. I am a panda. If you're gonna get on with it, do a bit of planning first. It's a state of mind beginning. I think that the other thing that we need to realize and remember, and I think haven't done this recently, or until recently rather, because I think the concept of hasten slowly is a particularly pertinent one for the likes of myself. And so it's my aim this year to do some slowing up and speeding up, interestingly, both concurrently. So I want to have some time of slow and some time of fast. And the reason for that is because actually, if you look at how the human brain grows best, it's a muscle, just the same as our body. It's in that slow and fast pace. It likes acceleration, it likes deceleration, and it likes a state of flux and flow. So that state of mind, knowing that we have this kind of looping behavior, this hills and vales behavior of our brain, goes in brain waves, and so should our activity, in fact. And that's why exercise, snacking's good. It's why intermittent fasting's good. It's why napping, actually, having a 20-minute nap, 18-minute nap, is powerful. Many of the greats, Einstein and et al., have done micronaps, and because in those micronaps we're in that REM sleep, and inspiration can come upon us. So it's an eternal loop from beginning to end, because a thought becomes a thing, and a thing becomes a happening, and then a happening either continues or it ends. It's a cycle, and so the cycle begins, just like New Year. And I want to say Happy New Year. It's absolutely fantastic to be here on the first Monday of 2025. I think I've been doing this talking thing for a couple of years, might be 3, might be 4 now. I wasn't very good at it. I'm not saying I'm brilliant now, but I wasn't very good at it. I was terrified actually about it. I was terrified of what I was doing, how I was saying it, what I was doing. It's ridiculous. And it paralyzed me. It paralyzed me. And so my new year doesn't begin with fireworks anymore. It begins actually with coming through the door and sitting quietly, is what I did. I was coming back pretty much when everybody else was gearing up to go for their celebrations. I came back and reflected, intended, and prepared for this new year. So how do I think that I worked on this over the years? Because I wasn't very good at it at the beginning, which nobody is. Especially when you're singing at the start of the very beginning, it's a very good place to start. When actually it's not at all. So yeah, I'd like Ms. Andrews to correct her wording. I think you have to reflect before you begin. Hence, I've just evidenced that her song was incorrect. Because I'm only joking. It's Julie Andrews, isn't it? There we are. The hills are alive with the sound of rubbish, Julie, because we need to reflect before we begin. So have a look at what worked well last year. Well, this worked well last year, right? My rocket planner, and it was my son that sent me a rocket planner. I think he was like, "Mum, you're rubbish at planning, and clearly you haven't got me anymore. So actually, you better get a rocket planner. Change your behaviour, change your life." I think that's the other thing he was saying to me. Organise your stuff, and maybe you'll be a bit more organised woman instead of just asking other people to do it. What didn't serve you? Not having an organised life didn't serve me. Don't know about you. What are you thinking about now? Might be that you drank too much. Yeah, I don't want to spend that much money on wasted calories filled with sugar. They're going to make me fat. Sorry. But I'm probably a bit poorly and potentially have inflammation, and then probably have some sugar spikes. And those sugar spikes definitely are attributed to all sorts of malarkeys that you don't really want to talk about. Nobody does. It's a bit like the big C. We don't want to talk about that. And that's based in inflammation, and it loves sugar. Does the big C. I'm just going to say that. What didn't serve you might be that you shouldn't have 42 breakfasts. It might be that. It might be that you shouldn't eat crisps 42 times a day. Whatever it is, don't think of it as a letting go of something. Just think of it as an awareness of something. That's like that. Is my intention to change that? No? All right, then I'll shut up. Because all you're doing is ruminating on it if you're not going to. So if you're not going to, just don't. Because nobody cares, actually. You don't, or you'd be doing it, right? Just saying. But I like to reflect, not to have a go at myself, but so that I can create a new blueprint, like I did in this, up to 2030 with brainstorming. If you look at the back, the very first thing I did was a mind map with the word me in the middle. Yeah? Me. All about me on this occasion. If you don't make life about you for a few minutes, what kind of life have you got? I've just got to ask you that now. So, I'm not saying you have to buy a panda planner. I didn't. Alex got it me. Oh, no, there we are. Magic. Yeah, my eldest got it for me. He's very kind. Thank you very much. He's always very kind to me. And then journal. Use voice notes or brainstorming, as I've just said, to crystallize where you want to go. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in 2030 directly. I knew the kind of general area I wanted to go until last night, because now I've imagineered it. So what lessons am I carrying into this year? And I've got loads of them from last year. I don't know about you, but I'm a bit rubbish sometimes at learning quickly, hasten slowly. Because when I do things again and again and again, and usually it's 3 times I do them, I usually do everything 3 times. I don't know why. I think it's probably I get shocked by the first time. Oh, something's changed. And then the middle one, I'm trying to work out what the hell it's about, getting the kind of structure. Oh, here we are. This is new. Got it. Now I know what it is. I can identify it. I know what it is. I know its shape. I know what it's called. I know what it does. I know how to do it. But I'm not very adept at it yet. And then the third time's like, yep, there we are. Now look at that. Starting to roll with it because I've done some practice. So what are we carrying into the new year? Do you do everything 3 times? Do you need to embody the experience? Are you a doer? If you're a doer, that doesn't mean you're not a sayer. It means you've got to practice the saying, just like this talking malarkey here now. So number 2 is define not your goals. Don't do goal setting. It's silly. And I said define some goals. But what I mean is, before that, because remember, you've got to begin before you start. Before you define your goals, set your intentions. What are your intentions? Not you want to lose weight, because it's not about weight, is it? When has it mattered what number it said on a box that somebody made up? What matters is how you feel, isn't it? I feel fit. I intend to be strong. I'm strong. I'm strong because I intended it. And I'm strong because I took the action steps. I wonder if I can show you. Took the action steps to make sure that I became strong. For those that are in Clubhouse, I'm doing a little weight lifting moment in time. Excuse me. Indulging myself there. Okay. I decided to be strong. Instead of saying, as I said to somebody yesterday, look, they said, oh, I need some money. And I went, what do you mean? You need to earn more. Maybe what you mean is that you want to create something meaningful with the effort that you make in the coming years, in the coming months, in the workspace, immediately, without any further ado, because that's the intention. If you immediately want to improve in the workspace and become more abundant as a result of your action steps, then abundance is absolutely, obviously got to happen, because action steps lead to outcomes. That's the inevitable. So I did create myself a roadmap last night, but it's not a prison. That's the beautiful thing about it. A life filled with abundance and joy is not created by trapping yourself into a plan that you can't change. Make a roadmap, but leave a space for some detours. And I think that's something that I said at the beginning I've got to learn from this year, is that time to slow down and time to speed up. It's necessary. But how do we then do something about those goals we've got to set? Because remember, the brain doesn't know the difference between the truth and lies. And if it isn't directed, it's like a computer. Gee go in, gee go out, garbage in, garbage out. Ask Chat GTP something illogical, and you'll get something illogical, right? We created the internet. Look at the reflection of ourselves back at ourselves, and you will see that we are merely Chat GTP on some sort of very impressive drug. And so we need to feed our brain exactly what we want from it: clarity, quality, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-driven, smart targets. Break those goals down into what? Well, steps. I mean, revolutions for me. One revolution at a time. They're wheels going round, by the way. I don't mean, a coup or taking over a small country. Although revolution might be your bag. I could be up for a revolution. If anyone wants to come to inclusion.gg, we are creating a revolution on a Monday night in Clubhouse. We create a revolution slowly, quietly, actionably, and step by step, because we've broken our goals into smaller, actionable steps. And we use things like calendars. We meet on a Monday at 7. We just do it the same every week. Calendars are useful, but doing it the same every week means that you don't even have to remember. And I use digital planners. I used Google Calendar. I also use Google Meet. In fact, Google's kind of got me. I know some of my staff use the Post-its to organise their life, the ones that you put on your desktop. Don't forget to feed the dog. And maybe set some milestones today. Write yourself a roadmap. Decide where you're going in the next year. I don't know why I'm typing, but there we are. I am. Because clearly that's no longer what I do, and yet that is exactly what I do. That's the other thing, right? If you can, handwrite it. Why am I handwriting it? Well, actually, the Panda Planner is an electronic planner too, because you can upload the pages to any of the social media spaces, storage spaces that you've got. Like Google, which I've got G Drive, and any others. There's loads of them, isn't there? There's Dropbox and all of those. There's 7 of them, and you can upload them, and you can design each page to just circle which one you want it uploading to. So it's a way to systemize your folder saving, and I need to, because it's a lesson that I'm bringing in, not just from last year but from the year before. But every year I get better at it, and now I have a PA who helps me as well. So use things, and then be flexible. When your plan doesn't plan out exactly, well, remember, life happens, and the detours are discoveries. Over the weekend, we had some happenings because people were a little anxious about coming back to work. They were doing some work. They were spending some time actually getting back into the flow of things. And it rose some questions, and we did some learning. And those detours that I took, because I was busy doing something else, which I always am, so that's fine. That means I'm always disturbable, because I'm always busy doing something else. I don't like just kind of not, which is a thing to take into next year, the slowing down and the speeding up. There's a book, I think it's Living Life Slow and Fast, I think. But it's go and read every day. Read a book every day. I read at least a book a day through Blinkist and audiobooks, and then I also listen to podcasts. In fact, we are opening the Inclusion podcast, as well as starting to rank up the Accessibility Partners one. We're going to be visiting some other podcasts as well, and quite exciting ones coming up. I'm not going to share it just yet because it's just the first week in January, but we do have quite an exciting planned year ahead. And find out who is on your side. When you have created this roadmap and you set these milestones, by then I'd like to have done that ideally. I'd quite like to graduate in 2025, for example. Now, if that ends up being 2026, well, the best laid plans of mice and men, they say, is a saying. Often change, I think, should be the end of that. And anyone that does know the end of that, again, I'd love to know the whole of that. Usually the beginning of a saying, or the end of a saying, has been omitted over the years because it's been made shorter because everybody knew what it meant. But basically, it means plans often change, and they do. But that's okay. And they're the details that give you the information, give me the information. I'm going to just 2 more. We've got 3 minutes. 2 more. Then I'm going to hand over to the amazing people here already and you on the interweb. This Motivational Monday. And by the way, I'm Mandy Jane. MJ, most people call me. I'm a SENDCO. That's a specific educational needs and disability coordinator by trade. A therapist, and I am training to be a social worker. I run a business helping people access the Access to Work program, and I founded a charity 13, I think 14, 15, I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. Years ago, which was, of course, Yell SOS, Shout Help, or Shout Speak Our Stories, and now has been rebranded as Inclusion, because it's all about us. It's not about me. It's not about you. And inclusion is the only foregone conclusion. We run inclusion at 7 o'clock on a Monday night on Clubhouse, and you can join. You can be a member. You go onto the website, fill in a contact form, and we will send you a membership application. It's really easy to become a member, and I'd get in now because membership is going to change. I'm looking forward to meeting you on a Monday night. Just come along to Clubhouse, and then if you'd like an official membership, you can join via the web link that you can get there. Because you need, and it brings me nicely on, to you needing to assemble a support crew. Remember, whether or not you're disabled or yet to be disabled, your role is to join inclusion and or make a referral through accessibility partners, because then you will be able to assemble your support crew. We're not on our own, and no one starts or certainly continues very well alone. You can go alone, but you can't go very far. You go further with others. Look at who's going to cheer you on, and I'll be honest, it's people like you that are very likely to cheer you on. Also, they can also be your greatest critics because they're very honest about where you're at in comparison to, for example, them or other people like them. But look at those people who have gone far with others, because they can offer help and advice. And I would suggest that when you align yourself with people who align with your intentions, whether that's a coach or which we provide in Accessibility Partners free of charge to you, free at point of delivery, funded by the government if you work at least an hour a week. You're disabled, you make an application through us, and you want coaching from us and you ask for that. It's something you can ask from the government for. You can ask them for our coaching. You can ask them for help for you, and then we can provide that really flexibly. And I don't think many people know about it. So whether it's a coach or a mentor, which is very different, I certainly mentor people, but that's not government funded. That's a private gig, and it's not inexpensive because I've got 32 years of experience in the customer facing focused disability world. But whether it's a coach or a mentor like me, and if you do get a chance this year to hear me stage speak, we're at NAIDEX in March, and if you're going to NAIDEX, you'll probably be able to book on to see me twice, and there will be different talks. So I'm looking forward to that, looking forward to meeting you there, and I'm looking forward to some of the things that are being launched at NAIDEX alongside you, with you. It's going to be exciting. My entire team almost are going to be at NAIDEX. So I think we'll just be kind of threaded around the crowd. You'll be able to find one of us, and we'll be pretty distinguishable. You'll be able to find one of us wandering around, and we'll be able to talk to you about booking in for an appointment to get hold of this opportunity whilst you're at NAIDEX, which is exciting. You're going to be able to go there with the intention of setting a new step forward into the new year. And it might be in March, but it might take you that long to gear up. And anyway, for many disabled people, March is the time we start coming out, right? So you've got a couple of months just to gear up before you come to NAIDEX. Tickets for NAIDEX are free. So you could plan to come to Birmingham. You could even ask for it in your care and support package if you do receive one as a respite opportunity. Can me and my carer, or can someone help me, fund me to get a coach or a bus or a train or a car or a driver up to NAIDEX, stay over, and or even just for the day. But it's massive. I'd stay over. It's a bit like going to London for the day. It's a bit crazy, although you can do it. It's good if you stay over and you can have another stab at it. I think NAIDEX is a 3-day event. We're going to be doing different things at our stall each day. Different talks, different opportunities to learn, different teaching opportunities, different learning opportunities, different subjects, and different ways to earn and learn and grow and thrive. So be a part of someone else's support crew too is my top tip. When you're part of the inclusion.gg gang, actually you help each other, and that really is where the magic is. It's the synergy. It's what we begin to create together, which is beyond sensory perception. It's extra sensory perception actually when we get together. And when you realize that quantum leaps are made when we get together with like-minded people, then plan to do what I told you to do. Choose one of them, because you're one or the other. You're either a person of determination, or you're a person yet to be of determination. That's it. So I think that whether you need to join inclusion in readiness and learn, or whether you want an application and get some coaching through Accessibility Partners, there's 2 doors. Listen, there's no wrong door into either organisation. If you're interested, give them a bell, or not a bell, but an email. Give them an email, and then they'll give you a bell. Because actually it's important to be included. We know that in Belonging in Business, if you don't come on a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock to Clubhouse, then I suggest you do, because it's banging. And Belonging in Business was all about belonging on Saturday, and you can go back and listen to that. There's a back catalogue that's free to you. I don't believe in paywalls, to be honest. Take that first imperfect step. Go and fill in the form online to be part of inclusion. Go and get ready to be a person of determination. Join us in our plight. Join us in our fight. Join us as we help other people of determination become even more determined than they already are, together. Easier, without actually having to guess it all. Because together we're better. Why? Because I'm a bit shit bit poop on my own. Monday morning, 6 a.m. Don't be swearing live on social media. You'll be shot. Test and fix as you go along, right? That's all you can do. Don't expect perfect. Be perfectly imperfect, because that's perfect. The only way is to learn, and learning happens well out loud and proud. The louder and prouder you are, the less shame you'll feel about being imperfectly imperfect. Be exactly who you are, where you are. Trusting that cycle is hard though. You don't realise that the universe has got your back, but it has. And when you work out the universe has got your back, well, the universe has got your back, because you know it has, and there it is. And there you can relax. And starting is always messy, so don't expect you're going to get up every day and drink 3 litres of water, because you won't. And remember that it goes in pits and troughs. We're not expected to be a flat line. That's not how our heartbeat is it? It's not how our emotions are, is it? It's not how our genes are created, is it? We're meant to flow. We're not meant to be stuck. We're meant to flow and grow, understanding that there will be undulations and we can refine as we go. Growth is also messy. So when you are changing, remember that other things will seem a little undone. If you decide to set an intention to make a change in your behaviour, know that there will be those who find it abhorrent. Usually the people that love you very much, because they like you just the way you are. They tell you that all the time. But if you don't like where you are, Well, it doesn't matter what they think, does it? And it can't matter, because you are the only thing that matters to you. And if you're going to go from surviving to thriving, then it starts with you. Beginnings don't happen once. They are part of an endless loop. Every day, every year, every moment is an opportunity to start again. So whether it's one little thing like, I'm going to drink water today, or whether you're going to make a massive leap like changing country that I did when I came to study to be a social worker. I emigrated to Wales. I'm an immigrant, actually, into Wales. The start of things is a process, not a point in time. You have to start before you start, before the moment arrives. Because when you realise that you've been part of a massive cycle all along, whether we're talking about our calendar, the Mayan calendar, the calendar of the Internet of Things, the calendar in your head, the timescale that you've got, the one that actually happens, it's all, remember, a fallacy. It's a construct that we've made in our head. But starting is the only beginning of a cycle. It's the only way. Like the Big Bang, it's how we began. We began outwards from the universe. And from now until the end of time, that is all there is. And so when we begin a cycle, it doesn't matter which cycle we're beginning or ending, because it is about the cycle. So today, in this first week of the new year, I just wonder, what are you doing about what you took? What are you taking with you from last year? And what are you putting down into this year, perhaps? I think probably the way to think about it for me is, what am I bringing to this year? Because the other way up thinking can be a bit challenging, I think, and focuses on the negative. I'm hoping Jude's all right, because he's not here. If anyone can message him, I'd be grateful, just because I do worry. He might have just dropped to sleep, but maybe ping him. And I hope that James is all right again. But those that are here. Hey ho, it's great to see you. It's lovely to see everybody that is here that doesn't usually be here. We are always here on a Monday at 6 o'clock, and we are just exploring the start of things. And of course, I've reviewed that the start of things isn't the place to start. It's before. It's called pre-contemplative action. So we think about it before we think about it, before we action it. So it's about pre-planning. I hope that's been of use to you. I think it's very motivational to think about planning. Even when we start thinking about it, we're more likely to plan. So the fact that you've heard it means you're very much more likely to plan today, which I think is great for everything, but certainly for the start of things, being that I'd like you all connected irrevocably and unconditionally connected. So you are me and I am you. So I would like you to be the best version of you, because I would like me to be the best version of me too. So for those that are struggling today, I'm sorry, because it would appear that we are with connection. I'm getting messages now saying that people are struggling. You can always jump onto Facebook or LinkedIn. That's the beauty, isn't it? Or YouTube or Twitch. We're there always as well, and I'm grateful to all of those people that watch and share and imbibe and feedback on this footage. It's the reason I do it. All right. So I'm going to say, I think that somebody next to me, Terry, planned last year to have a change that he's got that's the most phenomenal probably he could imagine. Now, I want to know, Terry has been becoming fitter and stronger this year. Back to my conversation about not losing weight, but becoming fitter and stronger. And I've got a burning question for him. I'm going to do it differently today, because I have got a burning question, and we've only got 19 minutes because I'm in another meeting at 7 o'clock. We're back fast and furious after going slow over the Christmas period. Terry, I want to know how you've lost nearly 6 stone, I think it is, isn't it? Happy New Year.
Yeah, that's correct. It's 5 stone 4 pounds at the moment.
Crazy.
That's over a 27 or 28 week period.
Yeah, how are you doing it?
I plan everything. I plan all my meals, even my snacks. So I I go through my books, I go through all my recipes and think, like, what am I going to do for what day? And I literally plan to the T of what I'm going to eat. And obviously, I'm not going to say 100% every day, because sometimes you do have little blips. But the good thing is with what I'm doing Slim World, is that you can still have what you want. You can still have the cakes if you want it, but you have what's called sins, and you sin it. So it's all about moderation. And I think some people forget that. They think, oh, well, if I'm going to have it, I'll have it all. Well, no, actually, just have a piece of it, and therefore, you're then within, your sort of remit, within your allowance. So that's what I do. I literally plan everything to even down to snacks.
Exactly.
Of what I'm going to have each day. And then when I go shopping, a couple of things sounds really stupid, but I never go shopping hungry, because if you go shopping hungry, you're going to buy crap.
You are.
That's the bottom line. Sorry if that was something to be rude. But that's the bottom line. You will just buy rubbish.
You will.
So it's always good to not go hungry. Not go to shopping hungry. And don't be put off by them deals on the end. It's only £1. It's only this. I literally stick to what's on my list, and I'm like a madman possessed when I'm in the shop, because I know exactly what I want, what aisle it's in, where I'm going, and I'm in and out. When my friends go, how much shopping have you got? And they look, and I go, so it's a good amount of shopping. How did you get all that in like 20 minutes? Well, that's because I just know where I'm going and what I'm doing, and I don't, let people get in my way. I'm like, excuse me, and just carry on, because otherwise, people like they're in their own world, they're doing everything, So it's just quite, as I say, that's the answer really. I've just been planning to an absolute T, but also making sure I do more stuff for me.
Yes.
That's the thing to this year, is making sure I'm included. Because actually, I think it's really important we include ourselves, because we often don't.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly. Include yourself. I couldn't think of anything more powerful. The slow and fast, the living slow and fast for me. The slow part will be when I'm including myself. Now, why do I want to be fast? Well, unless I'm including myself, what's the point? So those slow times that I see them as slow, actually, that's what will accelerate the fast times, because it's when we self-care, I've now realised. And I have to say, I would say that in the 80s and 90s, I was probably a pretty poor example, maybe even last year, a pretty poor example of self-care. I'd say 5 years ago, actually. A pretty poor example of self-care, because I actually avoided caring about myself because it was a bit uncomfortable. I've always been very good at giving, but just not very good at taking, feeling like it was selfish in some way. And actually, it couldn't be more selfless, because by giving to me, I then have the wherewithal, the energy, the power, actually, of being there, available at full steam for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's our moral obligation to include ourselves. I think we have to. I think we have to.
I think we quite often forget that.
I do. Massively.
We're always just trying to make everything better for everyone else.
Yeah.
And we don't often remember ourselves in that conclusion.
Exactly. Exactly. I think people are having trouble today, in and out. It's in and out. But for those on social media, you probably won't be in and out. I don't think we've been thrown out of anywhere yet. It's good to see all the numbers, and it's great. I can't communicate on all channels at the same time, so forgive me not answering in any of the chats online. It's good to see Alexia here today, and there's only 3 moderators. Now, here we are. The gentleman has arrived. But we only have 4 moderators. And usually, actually, there can be 8 or 12. I went to a storytelling session last night, and apparently there's usually about 12, and there was something like 26. I think the energy of my intention came with me as I brought half of Cardiff into a new telling circle. Not a new one, but it certainly grew last night, and they were expecting it to be thin on the ground. So I think people have been talking, and I do love listening to stories. I think stories of people actually are more important to me than fables, although the meaning of fables is always interesting. I just quite like people to get direct, and I like hearing about people, which is why I like being on Clubhouse. I like being with people. I like hearing about people. I like hearing the updates from people, and then I like watching people change their own lives through going from, well, surviving to thriving. I think everyone on this stage has done that. Alexia appears to have. There we are. No notes. She's here. There we are. I tell you, my screen this morning's been jumping around like a good one, both online and here. I see some people have moved on to online. Now, don't blame me, because Clubhouse, come on, get your act together. I don't know what you're doing, but whatever we are doing, keep telling us what we're doing. So thank you, Terry. And I think your weight gain, I nearly said, your strength gain is a phenomenal thing, and the fact that you're doing more because you can move more, and your fitness levels have to be improving is phenomenal. I bet many of your chronic illnesses are less symptomatic than they were. Would that be true?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I'm able to walk further. I'm not as doddery on my feet, because obviously I do use walking sticks. And so that sort of, I still use it because I do topple over, but I'm not as, before I used to think it as my leg sort of thing, you know. Now I'm like, no, it's just an accessory to help.
Yeah.
So I sort of, it's hard to accept that change though, because you're so used to something. But no, I you know, I can actually do things longer, and it's made an impact, a good impact.
Yeah.
And I have regular contact with my GP and stuff, and the you know, throughout the, you know, time in the program that I've been doing, as I say, you know, 27 or 28 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, that's been the, you know, the big change is starting that and realising how well I can do at something.
Fantastic.
But yeah, it's certainly improved a lot of my health problems. And I think the more I lose, the more that's going to happen. So
without a doubt, and we're going to be talking to all sorts of people in inclusion on the new podcast from where they have just been in their terms, and we've done some interviews already, surviving, and actually what they want to do, in fact, is thrive. Actually,
yeah,
because survival mode is a scary place.
And I think it's the last resort as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almost. You know, it's the last resort before that next bad step, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's a last-ditch attempt to, what can I do? As opposed to what can't I do? Because what can't I do is pretty extensive. Why don't we focus on what I can do and try and maximise that? Because I think when we take a half-full perspective as opposed to a half-empty perspective, I think it's easier to fill ourselves up.
Yeah.
I think, and I think you're testament to that. I'm so very impressed. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next 5, 10, 15 years maintain that. I'll tell you why. Because so many times over the years I've lost and gained, that for me, the journey of losing and gaining is a cycle. What I want to do this time round is I want to maintain.
Yeah. And that's the hardest thing. It's people, people don't understand quite so much when they first join any program, whether it's Slim or Weight Watchers, you know, whatever. I'm not going to harp on about my one because I'm not promoting them. But what I'm saying is, with anything like that, you've got to run before you've got to walk before you can run.
Exactly.
And that's what people don't get. People just think it's going to happen overnight, or, you know, at the end of the day, it's a new journey you're embarking on. And you've got to embrace the good and the bad, because you are going to have bad. I mean, you know, as much as I have lost, I've had weeks where I've put on 10 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, so it you know, it happens and it fluctuates, you know, but that's the whole, you know, that's the whole idea of it. But yeah, I just think, you know, being prepared to be aware that it's going to be a rough journey, but actually it's only as rough as you make it.
Exactly. And I think, yeah, of course, every choice is a choice, and when you make it, own it. That's how I feel about myself. I think, well, don't beat yourself up because it's purposeless. The best thing to do is move on from it and learn from it and say, I did that, that's it, done that. and I'm going to make a different choice next time, perhaps. And I'm more likely to make one if I've made one before. So I'm going to keep making that one choice every day in the way I can do best at the time I can do it. And that'll be enough.
Yeah.
I think and forgiveness actually, I think, is very healing. When we forgive ourselves for the things that we don't do, as well as celebrate the things we do. I can't say do on live on social media. The thing, I feel more guilty about saying that than any swear word in the world. It's interesting, isn't it? I think then just think there's power in that, and also I think in health and social care, right? Considering that, and we both have carers, both have care, right? Care, right? At the beginning and middle and end of care, I'm going to say it, and it's a bit like the big C. It's not mentionable, funnily enough, in care. I'm going to say, I love you, and I want there to be love in care. And what I mean by that is I want carers to care. Sounds a bit silly. I actually want them to build a relationship and feel a connection with the people they care for. We shy away from it because of boundaries. But actually, what we've got to do is openly and transparently actively love each other. Not the romantic, sexual, whatever kind of love, but the love that says, I see you, I hear you, I validate you, I am with you on your journey. And actually, it's just not there in care. Well, when it is, it's like a rainbow.
I mean, I'm very lucky. My carers are phenomenal. I've got a good set of carers, and actually, they are great.
Yeah.
Mine
are now.
One of them. Sorry.
Mine are now, but they haven't always been.
Oh, yeah. I went for a lot of rough ones. It's like you got to find the rough. You find the rough before you find the smooth, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
But as I say, my carers are absolutely amazing, and they're a really good shoe couple. And I'm lucky because obviously my care needs are quite different to a lot of the people that they deal with.
Of course.
I'm obviously a lot younger. I think it's difficult because, in a sense, they're so used to, chatting to Doris that's got a bit of dementia or something like that, and she repeating herself, or that's what I'm not stereotyping, but I'm just saying they're used to sort of
medical model,
or frau, or so obviously I can do stuff for myself, but there's just certain things in the morning that I can't because of my conditions, and I struggle with cats and everything. It's all part of the and so actually, without my carers, I would be scuppered. Yeah, but I know what you mean. It's very, very important to find good carers, and it's hard to find good carers. But when you've got them, don't let them go.
Exactly, and that really means good communication. And I think building a plan always helps, because if they know what you need, they can provide it. It's very difficult for them to plan if they're not directed. But I think that's a learning curve too, and that's why I think being a member of inclusion is really important for people, whether they're disabled or they're not. Because we are just yet to be disabled, and I think learning about it, whether it's for your family, your friend, your mother, your brother, your other, yourself, your plus one, in order that we can all thrive together and not just survive, then I think you need to join and do some learning. There's going to be some great learning opportunities this year. We have an inclusion course. It's actually, how to include yourself and include other people. Just be inclusive, but it is about including yourself first and foremost, and particularly about, and the slant for us is about the fact that you've just got to be prepared for all eventualities. So if you know what you do, if you get your legs chopped off, well, pretty much you're prepared for a lot of stuff, right? If you know what to do if you go deaf, well, it's easier than sorting it out when you have. If you know what to do if you don't see anymore and who to contact, well, or you get some help along the way, well, it's just easier than wandering about in the dark, metaphorically and literally, right? It's not easy to become disabled as you become disabled. Some of us were born that way. We were fortunate in that. So we've always known the world of disability, but some of us were curdled into it, and many of us are. At the drop of a hat, my coach kicked a football this week and rendered himself unable to play football with his friends over in New Zealand. Just in a moment, he was slowed down on one of those slow down periods in his life, which are important, remember, for growth. But growth is messy. And so before it's messy, let's start before we begin, because actually it's a very good place to start. Before we begin, not when it starts. So, Alexia, have you started before you begun? Have you been thinking about anything? What do you think about what I've been babbling on about this morning?
I think one of the most important things that you brought up in this is that letting go of the goals. And what I mean by that is, it doesn't mean you don't have achievements that you want to achieve.
No.
But when an off day, break them down. Don't make it so big.
Exactly.
Not everything has to be massive.
No.
By building a business doesn't happen overnight, and there's one member of our group who, when you couldn't be here the other Saturday, said that very thing. Oh, I've been putting things out. It's taken me years to build a real name up on LinkedIn. There's places where it does take time. I'm in my third business world, if you like, because I'm the earth healer. I work with animals for many years. I worked with the land for many years. I was in nursing, so I've seen things from a lot of perspective, whereas you're specialising in one field. But let's face facts, most people in the modern world are not necessarily going to be in the same job for the rest of their life.
No.
Because of health, it might be because the way we do things change. We did computers. I didn't know till I met you I was going to university. But change and adapt, which as a disabled person you do every day without thinking about it.
We do. You've changed. I was just reading a beautiful piece of writing about your living conditions, and I think that it's testament to the efforts that you've made with your movement, exercising as you do every day in the way that you can, according to how you've been. I know you've been more poorly recently, but still you insist on doing things to keep it or lose it. Use it or lose it. I love that mentality. I love the fact that in spite of the barriers that you've got at home, you've developed ways to manage them, and I think you're a definition of adaptation. And I think that you also had no idea you were disabled, and there's the irony that when I met you, you didn't even believe me, and of course you were born with polio and have post-polio syndrome, and then we found out after some investigation, because we knew you were dyslexic, that actually you have a brain cleft, which means basically that you've got an island of fluid in there, which doesn't separate the two hemispheres, but allows there to be a bit of a gap between them, and that leaves a place for you to fall, literally and metaphorically. So you fall physically, your legs give way, things lock up, but also in your thinking and your processing, you're very high functioning. You can imagine things that are in the next dimension, which means that you are quite quantum in your thinking. But at the same time, because if we have kind of what I would determine as starseed potential, for those that don't know what that is, it's just like consciousness. If you're at a level of consciousness that and consciousness, by the way, exists outside of us. We now know Kingston University has evidenced it. It exists outside of us. If you've worked out that you are able to modify consciousness and your experience of it, because it's just a story that we're telling ourselves, then at that point you have starseed potential, and you, Alexia, can see what you term as the library of the esoterical system, the spiritual library. And you've seen it for the years. It's glass. You can't see anything. You see through it, but it's the knowledge, the body of knowledge of everything, isn't it? It's the start of things, it's the beginning of things and the end of things. It's everything in one place, and it's available to all of us if only we can reach out for it. Am I right? Does that kind of
Okay. But being in the, and I can't think of a better word right now, human world, I mean the physical world, most people shut that out. It's always there. It's those times when you get clear thoughts in your head, you think, where did that come from? I wasn't thinking about that. And I'm not going to talk about this because I want to show off. I'm going to talk about this because I think it's important for people to realise that you can control how you do things. I'm sure most people in this room and these recordings have come across somebody who's gone through something life-changing like you have, I have with the board. But you now know, and I now know, when I had the accident with the Amio, I actually broke my leg, and it is quite a bad break. Now, you can either sit in that pain, or you can move beyond that pain. Now, I chose to move beyond that pain. And so until I actually, and probably at some point today or tomorrow, I'll get called in the hospital when they're going to have the part from my leg. We'll be going into hospital with my knee down, and hopefully all mend the broken leg at the same time.
I want to learn to mend my own body. I want to be able to learn to do it. People are growing new organs through the power of extrasensory perception in group work, where group healing is happening, and I want to learn to do that. I think I already can, actually. I just want to understand how to do it for myself. That's it.
It's going to sound really silly. It's not trying.
No, it's not trying. It's knowing.
It's
letting it happen.
Accepting that it can.
Exactly. It's just acceptance, completely.
Yeah. When you try to take control of something, and yeah, we do. If you're driving the car or on the mobility scooter, you've got to be in control of it. But mentally, we don't always have to be in control of everything.
Holding on to something, actually, the tighter you hold on to it, the more it slips through your fingers, I'll be honest.
It does. And it's about letting things happen. Yeah, we want answers right away. Unfortunately, one of the downsides of this modern world is we get told that we can have everything yesterday, and with what we've gone through in the last couple of years, we realise we can't have everything yesterday. And I'm going to tell anybody who's listening to this now, that's not going to get easier for a while.
No.
And that's years. That's not going to be months.
No.
But you have a choice how you deal with every situation.
Exactly.
So you can sit and say, well, somebody else is going to sort it out. Or you can take whatever steps that is, and that might just be mentally changing how you feel about something. I took 2 weeks off over Christmas, didn't come in the rooms much, and quite honestly, I feel better for doing that.
Absolutely.
I was ready to go this morning. The blog I put out this morning, I literally did that in 10 minutes, and you send me on an off day if I've got to write something, and it might take me 2 hours.
Slowing down speeds you up. Go hasten slowly.
Yeah, exactly.
Hasten slowly.
What people forget is your body is your car, but your brain very often is going 3 times faster than your body is. The reason you go to bed is to give your body time to catch up with the brain.
That's right.
Now, that's what you're going to bed for, not just because you're tired. But that is about getting the balance right. It's about eating right, drinking right. We say this so many times, is the eating, drinking right. If I wasn't taking the projects we both take,
No.
could you want to see me walking around on?
Oh, mate, I'd never be at work. I couldn't work. I didn't work. I couldn't. I just kept being so ill all the bloody time. I just kept being so ill all the time. It was a constant battle with infections. It was a constant battle with urinary infections. It was It was a constant battle with inflammation that led to breaks or to sprains or to strains or to rips or to tears or dislocations. Because I could not be inflamed, then I could get stronger. When my muscles got stronger, they held my joints together better. I've had less dislocations, therefore less pain relief, therefore less infections, therefore less medicine. It's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I told the surgeon when I saw him the first time, I said, I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Hartley. I said, I go conventional medicine second and use alternative therapies or natural remedies first.
That's where we come from. It's only the last 100 years we haven't done it. We knew what we were doing. If you look at what we do with saffron, with all sorts of hedgerow plants. I've got basically a book about eating out of the countryside because I want to go and nick people's weeds, although I will. The reality is, hey, listen, I love it. I love rubbing weeds. The point is that when we make things like nettle tea, there's a bloody reason that they made nettle tea, not because they were rubbing weeds, but because actually it holds so much good for us that we need to start remembering what it was that we actually did. It's only the last 100 years that people have convinced us that these little white pills with filler that we know actually is really not good for us are delivering that what were the plants, but in such a maladapted form that it's difficult for it to even be the same thing anymore. So although we came from herbs and supplements from the ground and from Mother Earth, and we've evolved them now, we've kind of let go of the origin, and we need to grasp it back, literally grasp the nettle, so to speak.
What the Earth Healer is talking about is everything you have is a source of this earth.
It is.
So why would respect it? Why would you not make it as natural as possible?
Yeah. It's around you. God gave us this earth. Why aren't we using it?
Yeah, as well as the drink we both take and the supplements we both take.
They're calling me the mushroom lady over at now. She likes her mushrooms. She does. I don't just like them. Okay, I don't just like them. I advocate for them. I advocate for the mushroom world. I advocate for the mushroom world, the adaptogen, the oxygen enhancer. I advocate, I actively seek other, not just adaptogens, other nootropics, other ways of feeling better because we're doing better, and doing better because we've got the zinc and the magnesium and the vitamin B3 and the all of those, the in balance the way it should be, so that actually this machine, that car that you talked about, can run properly. Yeah, and let's put one simple point in here, because I think this is important. People are saying, I haven't got enough money for this, I haven't got enough money for that. You can do meals very cheaply. You don't need to spend a lot of money on food. No, you don't.
And you and I are both busy, so I can't have time to cook every day. I'm gonna have to get Paul to do my vegetables for me today.
Prep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
and getting Paul to help you, I'm just going to say this, it will leave you energy for much more important endeavors. And you have to do what we call spoon theory. You have to go, I only feel like I've got 3 out of 10 spoons today. How am I going to spend my spoons? I'm going to spend them. Am I going to spend them cooking? Or I'm going to spend them writing the assignment that gets me the degree, that gives me the income, that means that I can become independent of the state? I'll tell you which I think it should be. It should be the long-term one. You'll always eat. Yeah, but be sensible about what you do and how you do it. Anybody who's got an underactive thyroid will tell you, you'll have wipeout days. Exactly. That's your body telling you need to slow down. And when you get one of those days with an underactive thyroid, believe you me, it can almost knock you to the floor. Yeah. But you have one thing you can always do. You can control what you think. Your brain is an out-of-control computer. That's exactly right. So you can control
what you do, what you eat by controlling your brain. A long time ago, with Sharon Rosenblum, I did her no sugar thing. I won't say don't get things with sugar in, and I won't say occasionally I don't have ready-made things, because occasionally I do. But by giving up that sugar, I went from a size 18, 20, 20, sometimes a size 22 in clothes to a 14.
Exactly.
And I haven't dieted at all.
No.
I haven't dieted. I've kept that weight off.
Mm.
And I do have, and did have, and still have some things from Christmas that I will eat. I do like shortbread biscuits, and I don't eat them much through the year, but I've got some that I will eat, and when I've finished it, because my mind is in the right place.
Exactly.
I won't need to buy more.
No, you can control it.
What Terry was saying about his shopping, one of the biggest things I found on that when I've done Sharon's sugar thing, I don't need that aisle, I don't need that aisle, I don't need that aisle.
Exactly. Oh, it limits, and if you know where you're going, you don't mess about being lulled in by all the stupid advertising.
No, you don't. And why shops constantly change brand is because you've got to go look for it.
That's right.
Oh, I didn't know I needed that.
Yeah.
So write this shopping list before you go out.
Exactly, just what Terry said.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you won't find something that you've forgotten to put on the list.
No. That's the roadmap, though, isn't it? Allow for the cul-de-sacs, allow for the happenings. Don't assume everything's going to happen the way you planned it, but make a plan, for God's sake, right?
Yeah. But do what you do with love and gratitude, because that is the biggest thing you can do for yourself.
It is.
It sounds so corny, and people look at me as if I've been hitting the bottle, and I haven't had a drink of alcohol in over 3 years now, and I've still got one that I thought I might drink this Christmas, and I didn't. When I say I haven't had it, I did have the first cold I've had in 8 years at the end of last year. Exactly. And so I had in hot milk, but I had that for the reason that as alcohol is not addictive to me, that actually helps sweat out the impurities of the body.
Well, yeah, I mean, alcohol actually has a purpose in that. It can, because it's a toxin, it makes you sweat it out. So it does get rid of some toxins if it's in a very small amount, like everything.
Exactly. Yeah, but everything we do should be in balanced amounts.
Of course it should.
This is easy when you're doing something to get tied up in, I need to do this, obviously I've got to finish, because Chrissy, bless her, I could have cried Friday. I'd written 99% of my assignment and the computer read it. Now, since... Yeah, and I looked in all the obvious places like Cloud and places you can look for it in the back files. No, it will turn up somewhere. I could have sat and cried.
Yeah.
Could have been a good time writing it up. My brain was going through one of its really challenging moments, and I was finding it really difficult. And I sent it over to her Saturday, and I said, Chrissy, if you haven't got time to go through this, I understand. It will just go over as it is. And bless her, she went through it. Yeah, I've still got things to change, and things that the way my brain works, I sort of can get off focus a bit, but then so can we all.
Yeah.
So there's things I've started to redo, but I also had to connect with a friend yesterday who's going through a bereavement at the moment, which was
a lot of death. There's a lot of death at Christmas, I find.
Well, her mum died last year, and without going into details, the family have been really nasty, and she's not a nasty person, and she's done so much for them with their health issue. I find it difficult to think they treated her the way they did. I met her at spiritual college, which is must be 20 years ago now.
Humans can be hard, but I think we experience our experiences for the lessons that we're learning from them. That's not to say that anything is deserved, because nothing is, But when things happen, if it wasn't for, when the rubber hits the road, so where it gets struggly, I wouldn't have learned anything. So I have to welcome the struggles. They don't feel nice, but like my mum always said when I said it wasn't fair, yeah, well, it isn't raining either. So,
No. Well, in my coursework, which stays in my mind, and I love the talk, but it was Raphael Rose. Now, he's a psychologist. He's been a psychologist for over 17 years, but he was a psychologist for NASA.
Yeah.
So he was responsible for keeping the astronauts on track.
Mm.
And NASA's motto is, failure is not an option. And there was a film on about that over Christmas. You could go back and find it. I think it was on the BBC. I'm not sure. Might have been ITV. But this was about when we first started the race to get into space, and Russia had got up there first. And it was when the Cold War was really at its worst.
Yep.
And the head of NASA said, we've got to get up in space. Failure was not an option. So where are you going to find the answer to this problem? Go find somebody who knows the calculation.
Exactly.
There's things I don't know about DSA. You do. Why would I struggle to try and understand what I don't need to know? That's not what I'm here to do.
No.
I'm here to show people what the connection is between you and this earth.
That's right.
That's what I've always been here to do, whether it's been as a nurse, whether it's to be as a coach, whether it's to be as an author. That is what I'm here to do.
Exactly. And when we know our calling keeps calling us. Unless we answer it, it will keep calling. It's that still quiet voice, unfortunately, that wakes you at 3 a.m. and whispers suggestions that tells you exactly where you should be. So if you have got that voice and you know what it is that you're being told, my suggestion is get on with it, because actually, if you don't, it's just going to keep bugging you.
And also, you don't know what doors that are open for you. If it seems really difficult, and when I say to you, university is difficult for me, you know just exactly how challenging it is. Yeah, I can read the stuff, but putting it down on paper for a tutor that they think is correct.
It's wild.
What I think is correct.
Mm.
And I find that really challenging, especially with some of the things I know, but there's so much I don't know that I'm learning through university.
And you know what? It's about the learning, not the outcome. As soon as you let go of the outcome and go, I'm just going to tell them as much as I know about this subject that I've learned in the way that I hope I'm reflecting in a way that they'd like me to. And then I'll see. And if I don't get it the first time, I'll do it the second time. If I don't get it the second time, I'll do it a third time.
Yeah, go and look for a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
Go and look for a different teacher. Go and look for a different coach.
Yeah.
There's all out there. But the only person who can ever make the change is you.
Completely. We speak the same language, you and I, Alexia.
All I can do is give ideas. We can't, and you should never, a spiritual person, the first rule of
never try and change anyone.
Never try and control the situation.
Never.
You try and control someone else.
No.
And that's why I'm a Ho'oponopono practitioner, is put the right words out there. Mm-hmm. Put it out loud. Because when you do that, that's Alexa. She's off.
It's my fault.
Get a move on and get some clothes on before Paul.
You had really been naked before Paul's here again. Yeah, and June needs to talk before he gets dressed as well. You're all naked around me. I bet Terry's in bed. You're all naked. I don't know. I've got a stage full of naked people. Nobody even knows, which is good. I'll let Jill. Oh, good. You've got clothes on. Well, at least one of you. You see, you're half and half. I'm actually dressed. I've been to morning meeting. I'm the only dressed one on the stage. I can't believe you turned up undressed. I love it, me. I think it's brilliant. We're all in various states of dress and undress.
Well, I was going to get dressed first.
Yeah. Why not?
Writing first, because my brain was in that gear.
MJ's easy going. She doesn't mind having half naked people on the stage. She loves it. That's what you thought. I just think you're getting ready for stage speaking. We're all going to be in various stages of undress, which I think maybe, I don't know, maybe Jew won't approve of. We'll find out. Jew, are you? Yeah, are you? Well, I don't know. I don't think I ever will. I'll give it a go then. Oh, hello. You're going to shut me up. How are you? So, do you think the start of things is at the start, or do you think it's before they start? Do you think that the start of things starts with a thought, which happens, an idea, a dream, before the start of things, because you have to evaluate whether you can start it and whether it's possible, and then when you do, you can start it. So, do you think that the start of things is before the start of things? Do you? I think it is. I think you can't start without planning, and therefore the start of things has to happen before it. So today started yesterday because I had to plan what I was doing, otherwise I didn't know what I was doing. Do you see?
Maybe planning a bit too far for me, but I do see the logic.
Yeah, of knowing what you're doing the next day.
Yes.
And having some intention about what you'd like to create.
Certainly, it's something I used to do.
And do you think it might be beneficial now? Just saying. I don't know. Do you want to go places and do things? Do you want to go places with people and do things?
You know I do.
Well, I'm just saying that if you do, and you plan those, like next Christmas, and you actively go, right, where am I staying? What am I doing? Am I near MJ? What dates? I'm going to tell my brother now. Like, I think it's called planning. Now, I know you think that tomorrow's a bit much, but I'm thinking about next Christmas because, you see, if I hadn't booked what I booked when I booked it, I wouldn't have got those days because they wouldn't have existed now. That's how difficult it is to get booked at Christmas at Centre Parks. So I don't know another way except planning to get it done.
Well, rest assured,
yeah,
I will be there next Christmas.
That's what I like to hear. I like promises like that, and I like it when we get coordinated and organised. And I'd love it if everybody was there. I'd love everyone to be there. I'd love it. I'd literally love it if inclusion took over Centre Parks. It would be amazing. Centre Parks, I think it's is it Woburn? Anyway, wherever we're staying, it's no, we're not. We're not. We moved. We're moving. We've been at Longleat. We're moving to a new one. We're going to take over a different one now. We're going to overspill. We're going to spread ourselves. Anyway,
it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
If things are laid out in a similar fashion.
Yeah, and whether they're not, you see. There we are, they're not. We've got an expert on the stage. Alexia's been to every Centre Parks there is, including all the foreign ones, I think. Yeah, you say Centre Parks expert.
Don't get Alexia started talking again.
All right, I won't. So what do you want to say about goal setting then?
I just want to say...
Yeah. Or whatever you want, really.
That for people with the perfect ability, for example, when I was normal, goal setting used to be something that happened. For example, I used to book my summer holiday a year in advance.
Yes.
So I knew where I was going to be, and I had something to look forward to through the winter.
It's powerful. It's powerful. They are really powerful words, because hope and determination is born of a direction. So if we know where we're going and we've got somewhere to go, and our brain knows the roadmap, and we've got the hope we can get there because we've got the means by which we can arrive at the goal we've set ourselves, and we think that goal, paying for that holiday, going on that holiday, preparing for that holiday, is doable, then you create alchemy. Then you've got the magic. You've got the magic components. You created just enough accountability that you had something to look forward to, so you had a goal to go towards, and that you knew the way to do it was to work hard to get the money, to get the preparation, to be able to go and enjoy yourself, right?
Didn't enjoy paying for them.
But your memories of them are fantastic, yeah?
Yes.
Exactly. And actually, what else are we except a memory, Jew? Because a few minutes ago I was talking about my own goal setting, the start of things, pre-contemplation, but that's just a memory now. So really, I am a memory, and so are you. So if we're not making memories, well, I don't know what we're making. So if you're going to make memories anyway, I think you might as well make good memories. And I think that does come down to, even if you do think tomorrow's a bit soon, a little bit of planning, even if it's that you might plan to, I don't know, get out of bed today, just for as an example. Like, they don't have to be big goals, don't have to be big intentions, rather, but you need to intend to do something. Otherwise, you probably won't do anything.
I very much doubt whether I will do anything.
Do you think you'll get up today?
Definitely.
There we are. So you are doing something. You're getting up. You're going out. You're going to sing Daisy Daisy. You're going to go out. You're going to go out, which is important. It's important to sing Daisy Daisy, because you need to understand it's a bicycle made for two. That's a tandem, in case you wondered. And if you didn't remember that, then you've not been reminded enough by the lady that sings it to you every day. It is a tandem, Jew, a bicycle made for two, in case you didn't know. I'd like people to remember that powerfully today. We won't say her name, but I want to wish her lots of love today. I want to just say, we love you, Daisy, and we agree that it's definitely a bicycle made for two. I haven't got a bicycle made for two, but I've got a bicycle I'm going to be getting on, because I need to get on my bike now, actually, because I'm coaching. No, I'm teaching. I'm mentoring, actually. They're all different. I'm mentoring at 8 o'clock. DSA, Disabled Students Allowance. It's that thing that Alexia talked about. She's got a separate tutor, because I'm a strategy coach. I can't be both, crazily enough. I can't wear two hats. So she has a different lady for that. But I'm doing that at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to go on skedaddle, given that if I plan to do that now, I might be ready for 8 o'clock. And I'm just going to say that you always come up with the goods. Because when you said, look, actually I used to plan my holiday a year in advance so that I had something to look forward to. That is probably the most powerful thing to say about New Year, to be honest. That is the most powerful thing to do, because it's true. So Happy New Year, everybody. It's great to see Heidi. It's great to see everybody that's here today. We have been powerfully together. We've been powerful here. We've been powerful there. We've been powerful flipping everywhere, on account of the fact that we are everything and everything else. And remember that the start of things is before it starts. That start at the very beginning is a very not good place to start. You need to start before the beginning, otherwise you won't know where you're going. It's interesting, isn't it? Every time we come up with these things. We're here tonight at 7 o'clock. I am going to also be here with the inclusion lot next Monday and with you lot next Monday, but I'm afraid on Saturday somebody's going to have to just step up and become belonging in business. So for those in business, I'm calling out to you. For those who feel that we belong, I'm calling out to you. I'd like you to get here on Saturday and champion the team for those that are going to be here. And I'm worried about James, but I'm going to find out if he's okay. Championing things, all belonging and all in business. On Saturday, because I would like that to be the case. I'm very excited about the coming month, and I'm going to back because it's a secret what's happening on Saturday, so I can't say it. It's not sacred, although it is. It's a secret. So I'm going to be not here on Saturday, but I am going to be somewhere. Obviously, I don't just disappear when I'm not on Clubhouse or on the internet. I'm not actually a bot, although maybe one day I will be. Who knows? AI is taking over half the jobs, so you best create some jobs that you feel are worthwhile, while AI does the rest. Have an Imagineer today when you're planning what it is you want to create out of this year, what you're going to bring from last, what lessons have you learned, what ways do you want to grow, what ways do you want to change, and how are you going to get there? We're going from from surviving to thriving, aren't we? Because surviving really does feel difficult sometimes. And if you're struggling, reach out, get yourself onto Tinterweb and inclusion.gg. If you need to sort out work, if work's a struggle, go to a2w.me. And if you want to know any more, just come back to one of these rooms, either MJ's house on Clubhouse or the inclusion space. We're opening a real space in the next 2 months in Cardiff, and we've just opened our New York office. It's getting very exciting, and I'm very excited to have you here. So have a great week. I'm glad you've been in Motivational Monday. It motivates me, it motivates you, but it's not about that. It's all about us. Hey, listen, inclusion is a foregone conclusion. Now we just have to bridge the gap between here and there through the Internet of Things and through accessibility by design. Let's design it like planning. Let's design a life that we deem is worth living, as opposed to think it's going to happen just by chance. It's not. It's just not. That's not how it works. Have an absolutely fantastic day, and hello to Dave. Hello, Dave. It's great to see you. I'm so grateful to see you. I hope you have a fantastic day, Dave. And you, Terry and Alexia. I want to thank Terry and Alexia and G for being here. I want to thank Francesca and Slajan, and of course Heidi is here. It's great to have seen so many people come through the room, so many people on the social interweb, and so many people here. Listen, our circle is widening and our stories get richer. Get ready for the Inclusion Podcast. It's going to drop any day now. I'm so excited. You have no way of knowing what I know. I wish you knew what I knew. And you go find out what you do know, because it's all trapped inside you. You've just got to let it flow and let it out, because that's the way 2025 will go best. If you want some help, reach out, because we're here for you. Have just the most beautiful day. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you all tonight in inclusion. I think I didn't just, what did I do? I hope I have. No, I nearly just left. I'm sure you'd have shut the room, but I'm going to end the stream. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.